Hello there, it's Sue at Miller's Laboratory. Thank you for joining me today. I am continuing to work on my Head Start journal, hoping that you guys are following along. I still have several of these books available in my Etsy shop. I'll have the link down below. So if you're interested and you want to join in, you could pick one up and get started. Today I have decided to focus on the pages where I folded down the top, and I counted 9 of these instances in the book, and so I'm going to try to go through all of those and show you some different things you can do. The first one is right at the beginning of the second signature, just a couple pages in. There's a check, and then you should have a page in here that's like from an embroidery pattern, and that's the one we're going to use here. And what we're going to do on this page is we're going to add another piece of paper that will flip up. So this will flip up, and then there will be something underneath. We can write here, or I could put a pocket in here, or whatever I like. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to detach this here so that this whole little panel will flip up. So I'm going to just take some little scissors and just try to do it carefully. It's not, if it's not perfect, it's going to be okay, because no one's really going to see it. But you just want to get in there as far as you can. And you could even just carefully tear it if you wanted to. I'm just going to get in here like this and kind of, I'm trying to get my arm out of the way so you can see. You don't have to cut all the way to the very edge either. So just getting my scissors in there and cutting up, 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 up. And if it's a little jaggedy, don't worry, because once you get it detached, you can trim it from the other side. So I'm just, it's tearing a little bit, and that's fine. All right, so see, you can see that it's just a little jaggedy there. I don't really even care about that, honestly, but if you want to, you can just take your scissors and trim that off. And then where this little bit is left here, I'm just going to put a little glue under that and glue it down to the page so that it's just not flapping around, just to make it a little neater. Okay, so we'll glue that up. Oh, and I have Benito coming to keep me company, it sounds like. All right. So there, that's just kind of glued down and out of the way. And now we have this nice little panel that goes up and down, and I'm just going to attach this on it. And you can attach it on top, or you can tuck it underneath and put it, whichever you like. And obviously this is a nice little image of a tree here, but you're going to use whatever goes with your theme. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of glue along the very edge of this, and then also right along the very edge on the back of this. And I printed this on the other side with just kind of a pattern, but I think that could be written on, so you could flip this up and write on the back if you wanted to. I'm just going to lay that on there where I think it should go. Oops. And make sure everything looks neat and straight here so that it's not crooked in there. I don't want it to be crooked. That is glued down. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of washi tape on there just as a decoration. And I just happen to have this washi tape right here, so I'll put a little piece on there. I just like the way that looks. All right. Stick that kind of off to the side. Maybe I'll put it like right here. There. And now this, oh, it's you, Marilla. We have cats all over the place. And then we can flip this up. And again, I'll do something here, but that's the idea. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to turn a couple of pages here, and we're going to come to this page where I have a music page. I folded the top down, and then I folded it back upon itself here. So I actually have like 2 panels here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, because I know this what I'm going to do here, I want to just put a little bit of glue in here to make sure that this one is glued down on both sides. We're going to come back and finish that. We're going to do this one first, but I just know that I need to do that to make sure that pocket is secure. So, all right, so we'll get that one glued down. Okay, and then what I have here is adding machine tape. So I think this is cool stuff because you can put a great big long piece in a book and use it for something. And so what I'm going to do, so I have this one long piece and I cut it so that it was I'm going to fold it up just a little short of the page here, and then go back up to the top, fold it just a little bit lower than the end, and then come down and tear it off. So that's how I decided what the size was. Okay, and I'm going to stick that up inside there, and I think the easiest way to do that is with tape. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking if I put some tape on this, just like this, you know what, that's not going to work because I want it to go all the way up to the top. So tape is not the answer. I'm glad I thought of it. We're just going to use our glue, and I'm gluing just along the top edge, and I'm going to tuck it up in there. I don't really want it glued down except at the very top. That's just how I want it. All right, and then have it come down, make sure it looks straight, and then press it down. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and glue this part of the little pocket closed. So we'll just run some glue right along here. That's about right. Okay. So now what we have is a pocket with this long piece of adding machine tape coming out. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take and fold it back up and tuck this up inside here. And then we have this nice neat little thing, but we can pull it out and we can write on this whole sheet. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with that one. And then of course we may come back later and decorate, you know, all of this. I'm just not doing any of the decorating right now. Okay, all right, so that was our second one. Now we're flipping over, and this third one here I'm actually just going to use as an up tuck. So if this was my tag here, it's just going to tuck up in there and sit. Okay, and I thought I would just decorate that a little bit. I said I wasn't going to decorate, but this is a nice thing to do. Add a little tag or some kind of a little panel on there, and that extends that down a little bit more and just gives you a little bit more secure tuck, you know, a little bit more something to hold your tag in there or whatever. So this is as much functional as it is a decoration. Okay, and I just kind of like grabbed a brown label out of my stash. It is kind of cute though, because it says tailors and complete outfitters. Like, so maybe you were being outfitted for the outdoors, and that kind of goes with the tree theme a little bit. Okay, so we're going to keep flipping here, and now we've come to the other side of the music page. And I'm going to use this one for an up tuck also, but I decided to make 2 layers so that I'll actually have 2 pockets. So to do that, all I did was cut a piece of paper that I liked, and I'm just going to glue that right up inside there, and then I'll trim it and glue the side down. So where we need to put our glue is along the top and along this edge to get that tucked up inside there. And then we'll do the rest of the gluing after we trim off the edge of the page, because it's not exactly to size. Okay. So we're just going to open that up as much as we can. We're trying not to get a bunch of glue all over the place in there. Just, we want it glued where we want it. So, okay. All right. And then I'm just gonna take my scissors and trim that page off. Let's flip it around. I think that'll be easier because I can use the other side of the page, or the other side of the page, yeah, as my guide. There we go. Okay, come back to this, and now we're just going to glue this one down and then the other one. So it's actually Sunday night. Today was Mother's Day. I hope everyone that is a mother or has a mother, or had a mother or was a mother, all of those situations that can be sad, but I hope everyone had a nice day. And it sure was beautiful weather here, and it was nice to be outdoors today. Okay. All right. Now we're going to continue on. We're going to come to this guy. This is kind of a weird one because I folded the side over and then I folded the top down. So we have this funky little thing here. And what I'm going to do with that is leave it, because I think I'm going to come back later and possibly put a pop-up under that one. So we'll do pop-ups later. So that one is just going to stay for now. All right. Now we have more funkiness here to deal with, and that is this extremely strange looking page where we have a little bit folded down at the top and a little bit folded over on the side. And what I'm going to do with this first one, I just did this so you would have options. If I had the paper, I just put it in there like that, and then it's up to you guys what you want to do with it. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to cut off this side flap. I don't want it. I could tear it or I can cut it. But in this instance, I'm not gonna. I have lots of flips, side flips throughout the book, and I can let this one go. So I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut that off. You could tear it, like I said, whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. Now it's just more normal looking. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to glue this flap down, and I'm going to just put the tiniest little bit of glue right on the very edge, because I haven't given myself a lot of leeway here with what I chose to do. So I have this panel, which is vellum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it down at the bottom with washi tape so it will hinge down like that. And then when you put it back up, you will tuck it into this little pocket, and that will hold it in place. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it in there so I know where I want it. Good. And then I'm going to get myself a piece of washi tape to put along the bottom here. All right. And I just chose this cute little polka dot one. Okay. And I want it to be just almost exactly the width of my vellum. I don't want any extra, because it won't want to hinge. So, okay. Everything looks straight. I'm just going to go ahead and put it down. And then I may have to come on the sides and trim it a little bit. So I'm getting that all lined up here. And then I'm just going to peel it up. And I'm going to trim the sides here so they're even. Oops. There we go. Okay, And then, so there's just a little bit here that's actually hinging that. I'm actually going to put glue on it. This isn't particularly high quality washi tape, and I want to make sure that it doesn't come apart. So I'm only putting glue on the part, you know, the washi tape itself, where it's glued down to the page. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about the tucking right now. I'm just going to get it lined back up here and glued down. Good. Okay, this was sort of like one of those ideas that you kind of have in the middle of the night, and I thought, hey, that would be kind of cool if it works. And I hadn't made one, so we're going to see right now if that will work. What I think is cool about this is that if you write underneath there, then you will see the writing through the vellum. Okay, so yeah, I think that's kind of neat. I like that idea. All right, so there's that one. Okay, we're just flying, guys. We're flying. All right, now the next one, it's the same situation where we have the top down and then the side. This time I'm going to take the top right off. We're just not going to have the top flap on this one. So I'm going to be cutting that off. Let's get this guy out of the way. And we're going to have the same little bit of, you know, little trickiness here where we have to try to get up in that corner. Not to worry, we just do the best we can. And the page, you know, you might be able to pull that out a little bit. Like if you can see, I can kind of lift that from where it's stitched because it's stitched into the book way down here. So you may find that helpful. You could also stick a knife in there. I don't have mine handy. And just slit it like an envelope too. That would work too. In fact, we could probably even do that with a pin. Let's see if that works. I'm just kind of easing that right up. There we go. There we go. Okay, and now I can just trim that right off. Okay. Make sure you're not cutting anything underneath. We've all done that, right? Oops. And then you have a design challenge to deal with. All right, right up to that edge. And I'm not real happy with how not straight that is. Let's straighten it out a little bit more. There we go. All right. So we just got rid of that all together. And then I am going to just put this cute little tree image on there. That will hinge up. And then you kind of have the same situation where you could see the writing underneath here if you wrote on the page below. So, okay. So let's put a little glue along here. And then also along the edge of the vellum. There we go. And just kind of center it top to bottom as best I can. And I have a little extra glue there to wipe off. And it's not quite straight, so I'm going to straighten that out a little bit before it sets. There we go. I think that will do. All right, and then that will flip out like that. Very nice. Okay. All right. The next one is all the way back in the 4th signature. And it is this little receipt page. And it's got the torn edge. This is on the fragile side, but I love how that looks. I love that sort of torn paper. And so what I decided to do with this one was just add a couple of little pages in there, like a little notebook or something. And then that you can just lift them up, or you could fold them up and write on both sides. Excuse me. So I will say that if you do this carefully, You could also use this as a secret up tuck. So we're going to try to do that, okay? So in order to do that, when you glue it up under here, you only want to glue it onto the flap. So you're going to put your glue on this top and stick it up in there under the flap so that it is not glued down on the back at all, okay? Just add a little bit of extra there. All right. And then stick it up there so it's all the way up and straight. Go ahead and stick it down, okay? And then I grabbed this little bag that I saved from a restaurant. It's a little silverware bag. And I thought that would be fun to have a little pocket hanging down. You could stick stuff up inside of it, okay? And it's way too long, so I'm going to trim it off because that won't matter. It's going to dead end anyway at the top of the thing, so it doesn't matter. You really don't even have to put any glue, you know, to glue it closed. There's no need. All right, so I am going to put glue on the bottom and the top of this one. Okay, so along here and along here. All right, and then we're just going to stick that up in there as well. And I kind of want it off to the side because I wanted to be able to see the words here and the red stripe, just like that. All right, so we'll stick that down too. Okay. All right, so now we have like a little pocket that we can stick a little thing in, a little paper we can write on, and we can flip this up and write here. I'm going to glue this down here so that it's like a complete pocket up here. Okay. And then what you would be able to do, grab something here, is you can come up underneath this and you can stick something up inside there and it's hidden. Okay. So that one kind of multi-purpose there. All right. Okay, one last one we're going to work with here. And this, I might come back and kind of glue those little flappies down a little bit more. In fact, let's just do it because I don't want them to come off. I like them. I like the little flappies. I just cut my nails and I can't do anything. Okay, here we go. All right, good enough. Okay, one more. So this is the other half of the receipt paper. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have little flags that hang down, just for cuteness, okay? And we can do the same thing here. So I'm not going to make this part into a tuck. I'm just going to glue this little part down. But over here, we can just glue the flags up, and then you could slip something underneath them if you wanted to. Now this is a little tricky stuff. This is like this mesh paper. You can actually see it better on the white paper. And I don't know where I got it. It's the kind of thing you pick up when you see it. It used to be, you'd see this stuff a lot more when there were rubber stamping stores. At least that's my opinion. I do see this kind of stuff on Amazon sometimes. All right, and so these are all just kind of little scraps of paper that kind of go with the color scheme, and I just liked them. So, all right, so I chose those. All right, so I'm going to stick that one under here, and I'm just avoiding, and she says as she doesn't do it, I'm avoiding where this folds. I don't want a flag to be folded over in the middle, so I'm just trying to position that so that we don't have to deal with that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down just a little bit so it stays. So we're not using this side again as a secret tuck spot. Okay, go ahead and glue that and that, like that. Okay. Just a little bit is all you need. All right. Now, I've got a little piece of like mulberry paper, which we're going to stick up in under there. And I'm going to switch glues, and I'm going to use my glue stick because this this is really porous, and I don't want the glue to go through to the other side and glue down the I don't want it to glue the pocket part closed. That makes sense? I hope so. I hope it makes sense. I only want it glued up, not on the back of the little flags. All right, here's another one. Put that one there. I just think the little flags are really cute. And it's cute because you can still write on the page and everything, but you just have a little bit of decoration up there. All right. And then we have this guy. Okay. He's this mesh guy. He might be trouble. He might ruin my plan, but we'll try it. Sorry if my arm is right in the way too. I'm so sorry. Okay. That up there. Good. All right, so there they are. Okay, now if I did it the way I think I did it, we could still come and tuck something up. Yeah, that one where that mesh is, it's kind of sticking a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of work that. But you can come up and tuck in a tag or a journal card up under those little flags. Okay, so there we go. I think I'm just going to slip, I have a little piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to slip that up in there in hopes that it will not be glued down. We'll keep it open while it dries. All right. So that is my video for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you soon. Have a great week. Bye.